Dzisiaj ze mną wyjątkowa gościni, Jenny Vega Cardenas z Kanady, w Montrealu, która jest doktorką prawa water law to się nazywa, czyli prawa rzeki. Poza tym jest prawniczką biznesową, tak zaczynała. To co ważne, że jej działania doprowadziły w 2021 roku do uznania rzeki Mekpi za osobę prawną. To było 23 lutego. Możecie ją znać jako bohaterkę filmu Ewy Ewart Do ostatniej kropli, w której się pojawiła. Jest autorką wielu artykułów i książek z zakresu nauki. I poza tym jest prezydentką International Observatory of Nature Rights, czyli Międzynarodowego Obserwatorium Praw Natury. I rozmawiam właśnie we Wrocławiu, w Polsce. Dzień dobry. Good morning, Jenny. Good day.
Hello. Hello everyone.
Pierwsze pytanie. Czym się zajmujesz w Kanadzie? Na czym polega Twoja praca na rzecz uznania rzek za osoby prawne?
Hello everyone, my name is Jenny Vega Cardenas. I'm the president of International Observatory on Nature's Rights. I'm very happy to be with you today, and also beside me we have the Odra River. I'm very happy to meet her, and I'm working in water law for maybe 20 years. And since 2018 I discovered a new way to protect water and rivers and lakes. That is by the means of recognizing legal personhood and rights. So I'm very happy to share with you our knowledge and our experience since 2018 working in this field.
Pierwsze pytanie jest takie, jak to się stało możliwym, że rzeka Mekpi została osobą prawną? Jakie były kroki, co najważniejszego zrobiliście, żeby to się wydarzyło?
In fact, we have organized a workshop and we met the community, the Innu community and also the regional community of Mangani to explain about different cases around the world, what legal personhood means in law. And then they understood the importance of that legal movement, this worldwide movement. Because it's like when you born, now you have a name, you have a register, so now you exist for the law, and there are many rights that are applied to yourself. The same for the river. Many rivers are unknown, but when they obtain their legal personhood, and when we recognize its legal personhood, now they are like present into law. Now we have an easy way to protect them, and they exist. So now you know that the Magpie River exists. There are a lot of rivers in Canada, but now that river has a name, is very known, and also the communities who are working alongside the river to protect her. So I think it's a new revolution. A colleague of mine said always, human rights are the first revolution, nature's rights are the second worldwide revolution. And now we need to work on that sense.
Co zmieniło się dla rzeki Mekpi, że od momentu, w którym została osobą prawną? Co realnie się dla niej zmieniło?
I just get to know something that I didn't expect, and that was the power of visualization of the legal personhood. Before the recognition of the legal personhood, governments were planning to build a huge dam that could really destroy that river. But now that the Magpie River is a legal person, now they said, we change our plans. We are not going anymore with that kind of project, neither for the short, neither the medium, neither the long term. So it's a dissuasive power of the legal personhood, because now it exists, and they know that she can act before the courts to be protected. And Innu community now are more powerful, because also local communities they are empowered for change. And now this beautiful movement, you see that it's not only the river that is now living and also is heard, her voice is heard, but also local communities who really care for the river, they are also heard, and they are really being taken into account by different levels of government. So it changed many things. I encourage you to do the same with other rivers in the world.
Wspomniałaś o rdzennej społeczności w Kanadzie, Innu Community. I chcę Cię zapytać o to, jaki wpływ miała rdzenna społeczność na uznanie rzeki za osobę prawną. I jak postrzegasz to, że w Polsce uznanie rzeki Odry za osobę prawną pochodzi z szamańskich korzeni, wywodzi się z szamańskiej inicjatywy i mówienia wprost o tym, że rzeka jest osobą?
In fact, what I really love of that process was because it was a question of translation. Because the Innu community, there was like the leaders of this initiative, but they were talking about the living being, the river as a living being. So the first right was the right of the Magpie River to exist and to live. And for non-indigenous, they were like, why to live, to exist? It's a being. For them, it's like a living environment, but not necessarily a living being. But they can understand it, and they said, okay, we go ahead with that vision, because the meaning is very close to say that it's a living being or it's a living environment. So it's a question of translation to see that anyway we really want the best for the river, because the best of the river is also the best for us.
And what about the shamanic perspective for making other river legal person? What do you think about it?
The shamanic perspective also is an ancient science, also very known for indigenous peoples and indigenous knowledge. They have been advancing this science for 1,000 years, but now science are discovering more and more that they were right, but they need to do the process to understand what the shamanic wanted to say. So it's a question of translating, but also it's very respectful, because it's an ancient science. Others say it's an ancient knowledge, but knowledge is to be open to a different perspective.
Na koniec chcę Cię zapytać o nią, o rzekę Odrę, przy której jesteśmy. Co o niej myślisz, jak ją czujesz, jakie masz życzenia dla Odry, ale też co powinniśmy zrobić w Polsce, jakie powinny być pierwsze kroki?
I think the river is very happy because her voice has been heard, and now people are taking more and more into account what the river needs. So I congratulate you. Also, I know the river is very happy that you are working for her, that you are making known her name worldwide. And I know that the fight you are leading right now is going to be successful in any ways, for education, for our law system, for economic system, for many, many things. So go ahead, don't be afraid, and do what you need to do.